without any further ado, this is Matoaka. I remember before there were countries. Country. The word itself is foreign on my tongue. I still struggle with the syllables and the clipped speech. White men brought this word to us, along with guns, pestilence, selfish ways, and his hunger. He wants everything, to see everything, to do everything. But I cannot blame him for this. He was not satisfied on his island. Island peoples rarely are. I was not satisfied in my forest. Young girls born with the star in their eye and a spider's web about their hearts seldom are. That is why John and I understood each other. We both adored freedom. I was born in 1595 in Werawokomo in what is now called a call. A white film covered me from head to foot. Memen died. My nurses and sisters cleaned me off and presented me to my father, completely naked, where he marked my forehead with ceremonial ash, proclaimingly princess on the spot. My secret name, the name that you know, was one only used for our peoples who were superstitious and knew that to give away one's true name was to give away a soul's essence or power. Demons and ghouls seldom took the daughters of the tribe, but still my birth was far too heralded in the kingdom. I was my father's 100th child, they said, to make it any less than the strictest of precautions. It was thought that my birth was a harbinger for a time, that something bad was coming. It was not until 16 that I would be again draped all in white like my birth and remade into a member of the tribe of empires for my husband, John. We were the Salagi Renape, Powhatan nations, and our land stretched across 5 of what you now call states today. We had no countries, only loose borders that shifted with treaties and alliances that changed based upon the harvests. If one was good in one area and another poor, new lines were drawn and farmers were moved to establish better farmlands in the poorer nation. Our crop rotations were constant. We had networks of communication that stretched from South Carolina that is now to what is now New York. From the third nation, by the fast-flowing waters and craggy rocks in the foothills of the mountains of the Chesapeake, our warriors came. When not raiding or hunting, they were building our lodges, the best on the coast. Some of them even had lofts, and it was in one of these, ignoring my sewing and other duties and just daydreaming aimlessly, as I often did, I peeked through the triangular wooden opening at the top of the thatched roof, and I saw strange clouds. Square clouds, massive ships, destiny, Aziki, like a dream. Now, Walt Disney will have you believe that I had never seen such things, did not know what they were, but we had had visitors before, tribes to the south and had sent us warnings. Not to mention, I was educated in the histories of all the nations, farming, needlework, diplomacy, and healing arts. I was a princess of all things. We ourselves had canoe that could seat 2 abreast and 20 long to forge the Potomac. We used sails made of cloth occasionally when sailing down the coast, but had often to put them away as the winter storms came quickly and could capsize even the most even-keeled boat. Understand, we had already domesticated animals, a complex agrarian system, ledgers for counting grain, marriage, birth, death records that were destroyed or inaccurately passed off as art in museums while my people were enslaved. We were re-educated and gawked at like the peacock in a British zoo I saw upon my return to England. I did not mind that my children looked like them. I minded more that half the personages disembarking from the boats, those of the darker hues, and some with hair like fire, did all their building for them in chains and received no grain or no coin in return. It was these who died first, and these I was trying to save by bringing my men sacks of corn and improvised rakes to teach them how to farm the fertile but fickery watery delta of the lands they kept calling Virginia. I liked her name. I liked the queen. All queens have a few things in common. And at the death of my father, the great Powhatan, as his favorite and already now an ambassador to the invaders, and a titled land-owning noblewoman could technically have assumed such a role, because queens were not uncommon in other tribes, But I had already been married off in a political alliance, leaving my first love behind, and I quickly saw behind the ranks of the great unwashed drunken men cunning, malice, a willingness to kill me and every single one of us for a slice of bread because we outnumbered them 10-1 and we were no match for their weapons of fire. We had cultivated a war hood over the years protecting our lands, buried even one settlement that got too friendly with our women. But our roots were a people of earth, of water, of peace. We did not practice untamed destruction. It was said in our language, to kill a child is the greatest of all sins. I did not, as I do not now, believe in this hell described to me in my English lessons, rather envisioning my Latin teacher roasting on a pitchfork and myself running around in a soft English field of heather with no shoes on. But I imagine this is where many of my adoptive family went, for the lives of my brothers and sisters when I was taken. Still, I loved John. I tried to. I desperately loved my children, both the one who lived and the one who did not. Creating a baby of your own has a way of enamoring you to the world for the miracle of it all. But as I grew and learned more, I longed more and more for my freedom. While reports came to me that more and more of my cousins were being forced into bad deals, cages, land titles without any tribal say, there is no honor among thieves. And after our land was stolen, I sold myself to bargain for lives, but our countless treasures were lost. You guys want more, or should I stop? I've got like one more paragraph here, so maybe. The myth about bringing the potato to court is amusing, but laughable. Such things had grown at the fringes of the empire for decades, albeit our ready ones were better and healthier. Still, the English have a taste for salt and would tame the sweet juices by pickling them or trying to fry them in an oil, a message I brought back with me when we returned to the homeland. We may have had a hand in modern salads, tomatoes spread faster than any invasion I had ever seen, and of course our corn, now genetically modified and tasteless, is a staple of the world's stomachs. We left our mark on the world, and some of the old ways survive. We are not forgotten. And that is why I gave my life away. I attempted to have my first child away from the medicines and songs of my people, and I paid dearly for it. She is with me still, laughing in my ear, and the smell of lavender floats by when she sings. My son Thomas was sickly, a scholar, but carried with him a sense of fairness and justice from being born of two such different peoples. He was my hope for a reunion in the new world. He has his father's pensive stare. Sometimes I see him looking out on our fields, our cattle, and his fingers tapping at his drawing board, and I can feel the blood rush in him, the itch, the want to take the back of a horse and ride across the lands. It is in his blood. He surveys and hunts the hares that roam everywhere here, and then diligently returns to his lessons and offers me a cheeky smile. I am corseted, caged, only freed in the evenings when we ride together, my Lord graciously allowing me to sit astride the beast. I'm a better rider than he is, don't tell. As he details his days in court, and then I feign too sickly to attend at times, and offers me useless but pretty pieces of glass. And if you guys want to finish the rest of this, it's available on my LiveJournal. It's livejournal.com/Amari Writes. That's AMARWRITES. But there's like a whole other chapter beyond this. But thank you. That was Matoaka.